Eurogold is driven by being the best civil engineering contractor in the Northwest, ensuring its clients are given the highest level of service that they deserve. Eurogold work in a wide range of industry sectors, including house building, highways, commercial and industrial build.
La Vita is an award-winning, independently run Italian restaurant. Located on Rose Lane in the heart of Liverpool, real Italian-style dishes using the best skillfully prepared by our chefs. Come and try our serious Italian experience.
Supreme Upholstery Limited is a manufacturer of quality bespoke upholstered furniture. Come along with your ideas for that perfect sofa to fit your home and let Supreme bring your ideas to fruition. We also offer a service to the contract market, including large hotel groups and small family-run business. No matter how large or how small your order, you will always get that personal service from our sales team. Come along and visit our showroom.
Hello everyone and a very warm welcome. Coming up on the show this week, Derek Ryan will be singing his brand new song called Wherever You're Going. We'll be meeting Father Michael Deas and some of his parishioners from St. Catherine's Roman Catholic Church in Didsbury. Now last year, Maureen Fox, who was president of the Roscommon Association, celebrated her 100th birthday. Well, earlier this year, Maureen passed away from COVID-19. We'll be paying a special tribute to Maureen later in the show. But first up, we're off to meet consultant and Dr. Gerry Collins. And this week we'll be speaking to Dr. Gerry about breast cancer. And I began by asking him how often should ladies examine their breasts for lumps or any kind of changes.
Key thing about that is not to get obsessed and examine themselves too often, because if you examine yourself too often, you won't notice a change. So I would have thought maybe once every couple of months would be more than reasonable.
What is the best way for a lady to examine her breasts for lumps or any kind of changes?
Okay, so the key thing about it is, first of all, they need to sit in a chair a bit like this, a high-back chair, no arms at the side, nice and comfortable, nice and upright. So we'll use the left breast as the example. So what they do is they put their hand behind their head, back up like that, get themselves nice and relaxed, and then they examine the breast in 5 separate areas. So we'll start with the upper outer part, the lower outer part, the upper inner part, the lower inner part, and then finally the nipple area. And just feel the breast gently. They don't have to push or probe too hard. Just feel it, keep it nice and relaxed. And if there is anything significant going on, then they're likely to find it. And then for the other side, they just merely repeat the process. So the 4 quadrants and then the nipple area.
Thank you very much for that, Gerry. Now, what should people do if they think that they've found a swelling or maybe a lump?
Well, if they have found anything, they need to get medical attention. But just to reassure people, the vast majority of lumps that women or ladies find examining themselves tend to be benign. You may well have heard of a thing called a breast mouse, which is a condition called fibroadenosis. And that's a sort of thickening in the breast that you might feel it in one bit one day and another part of the breast the next day. And that's an entirely benign condition. So if they find something, it must be examined by a medical person, but it may well be nothing to worry about.
Now, if they did find something, is there any guideline that might tell themselves, would it be tender, for instance, or would it be sore, or, you know, is there any guideline that they could kind of...
Well, I think that's a good point. I mean, usually in terms of cancer, usually cancers tend to be painless. So a lump that is totally non-tender is more likely to potentially be cancerous. However, as in most tumours, there is a small percent of tumours that actually are tender to touch, in the breast and in other areas actually. Now, Martin, of course, there are different types of breast cancer, and that's down to what's known as the receptor status. And you've got three types of breast cancer receptor. You've got the estrogen receptor, the progesterone receptor, and the HER2 receptor. And depending on which of these receptors are positive, then the prognosis differs. For example, if the breast cancer has no positive receptors at all, they tend to be more aggressive with a worse prognosis. There's also hereditary types of breast cancer, as in most tumours. Having said that, tends to account for really probably only 10% of cases, and it's all down to genetics then, of course. And there's a couple of genes that people may have heard of which are quite relevant, called the BRCA genes, and you've got BRCA1 and BRCA2. So somebody who inherits a BRCA1 abnormality has about an 85% chance of developing breast cancer in their lifetime. So that particular abnormality is a very serious one. And patients who have that often consider having preventative treatment. And you'd have heard in the media about people having bilateral mastectomies, for example. Well, they would tend to be these BRCA1 types of patients. And there's a BRCA2 gene abnormality, which isn't quite so bad. It carries about a 50% chance of getting breast cancer in one's lifetime. So they're sort of the different categories of breast cancer. So really the next thing is, how is breast cancer diagnosed? So somebody finds a lump, they go to their GP, and they're referred to their breast surgeon in the local hospital. They'll be examined, of course. They'll probably have an ultrasound and a mammogram, and then potentially a needle biopsy. So once the diagnosis is established, then the next question is, so what happens next? Well, they would undergo a complete staging, and that would usually be by a CT scan, which would look at the chest, the tummy, the pelvis, and after that then treatment. The usual treatment for breast cancer is what's called a wide local excision or lumpectomy. And in that situation, rather than remove the breast entirely, the lump and surrounding tissue is removed, and then radiotherapy is given to that area. And that treatment is as effective as removing the breast completely. And after that, of course, the tumour is sent off for analysis, and the receptor status, which I was talking about earlier, is analysed. And pending the receptor status, patients usually go on to medical treatment. And the common treatments would be a thing called letrozole and arimidex, and also tamoxifen. Now, the first two are used in postmenopausal patients. Tamoxifen can be used in pre- and postmenopausal patients. So having had their surgery, radiotherapy, the lady would almost certainly invariably be on one of these medications, which are in tablet form, and that would be a lifelong treatment. If the staging suggested that there were, secondaries around the body, then chemotherapy certainly would be offered in that situation. Now, chemotherapy has clearly, a bad reputation, but it differs depending very much on which type of chemotherapy is used. And some patients do worry about things like hair loss, and why does that happen? And the reason that happens is because the chemotherapy is attacking fast multiplying cells in the cancer, it will inevitably have a sort of collateral effect on faster growing cells in the normal parts of the body. And the hair is a good example of that, because the cell turnover in hair is very fast. So though that hair will be affected, and patients may have temporary hair loss, for example. And also cells in the lining of the bowel opt to have a fast turnover as well. So patients on different types of chemotherapy do frequently get bowel type symptoms as well. It's worth pointing out, of course, that breast cancer is predominantly a disease of ladies, but it does occur in men. It's a pretty rare condition, but it does actually happen. So clearly, if any man notices a lump in that area, then again, it should be checked out. Again, usually it won't be cancerous, and there are certain medications that actually cause breast lumps and breast tenderness and pain in men. And in fact, one or two of the things we use in urology, it's a common side effect of some of those. And these are treatments for benign prostatic conditions, for example. So it's rare in men, but again, it's not absolutely unheard of. So if a man finds something, likewise, get it checked out. So the bottom line is really, for males and females really, you find a lump, get it checked out. It's probably going to be nothing, but don't ignore it.
Thank you, Dr. Gerry, for joining us on the show. And if people are concerned about their health in any way, please contact your GP as soon as you can. Now it's time to meet Derek Ryan, and he's going to be singing his brand new song called Wherever You're Going.
Wherever you're going, I'll go too, if that's alright with you. Wherever you're going, I'll go too, sure I wouldn't know what else to do. Hey! Out one evening just to find myself a dance. I didn't know the meaning of true love or sweet romance till I saw her sway underneath the lights. Says she, where are you heading for? And that's when I replied, wherever you're going, I'll go too, if that's alright with you. Wherever you're going, I'll go too, sure I wouldn't know what else to do. Fire in her eyes, the colour of her hair, a look I knew for all my life I'd follow anywhere. She whispered in my ear as the sun began to rise, swear to me, my darling, you'll never say goodbye. Wherever you're going, I'll go too, if that's alright with you. Wherever you're going, I'll go too, sure I wouldn't know what else to do. Wherever you're going, I'll go too, if that's alright with you. Wherever you're going, I'll go too, sure I wouldn't know what else to do. Hey! How quick the years can pass you by when you're having fun. No matter just how fast they fly, our love will keep us young. Whatever way the road may part, I know I'll never stray. I promise till the end, love, you'll always hear me say, wherever you go, wherever you go, I'll go too, sure I wouldn't know what else to do.
Eurogold is driven by being the best civil engineering contractor in the Northwest, ensuring its clients are given the highest level of service that they deserve. Eurogold work in a wide range of industry sectors, including house building, highways, commercial and industrial build.
La Vita is an award-winning, independently run Italian restaurant. Located on Rose Lane in the heart of Liverpool, real Italian-style dishes using the best skillfully prepared by our chefs. Come and try our serious Italian experience.
Supreme Upholstery. Supreme Upholstery Limited is a manufacturer of quality bespoke upholstered furniture. Come along with your ideas for that perfect sofa to fit your home and let Supreme bring your ideas to fruition. We also offer a service to the contract market, including large hotel groups and small family-run business. No matter how large or how small your order, you will always get that personal service from our sales team. Come along and visit our showroom.
Welcome back. Now we're off to meet Father Michael Deas and some of his parishioners from St Catherine's Roman Catholic Church in Didsbury, Manchester. They've been fundraising for the Cornerstone Day Centre, and we went along to see how it all went.
Well, we chose to run for Cornerstone because it's a local charity, one that our parish has supported for many years. There's been people that have volunteered there for years, but we also know that because of the pandemic, their fundraising events weren't able to go ahead as planned, so we thought, well, we should do something good and run for Cornerstone, really, to help. Because it's such a wonderful charity supporting those who have less than others, you know, the homeless and people like that. So it's they do wonderful work in our community for the last however many decades it is now. So and Sister Lucy as well comes to Mass here, Sister Lucy, who has been running Cornerstone for such a long time as well. So there's always been a great connection. I myself grew up in Rusholme as well, so I've always been aware that Cornerstone existed and know of that charity throughout my whole life. So I thought it was the first one that came to mind when we decided to run for charity.
Had you done much running before this?
Over the last year I had, yeah, but before the pandemic I decided to get fit. It's just after I arrived in this parish, really. I decided to get myself fit, and then the pandemic gave me more time to do some exercise, and started to take up running during that time and got the bug, as they say, and just kept running and really enjoyed it. It was good for me. It's good for your mental health, and it's great just to go out and switch off. But I thought I'd just done it for myself to begin with, and then by the time we got to Lent this year, I'd been inspired by other people raising money for charity, doing Walk for Water and things like that. So I also knew that there was a group of parishioners in our parish here at St Catherine's who were really into running too. So we all started chatting and thought, yeah, let's use what we enjoy to help other people. So yeah, that's why we went ahead with the half marathon.
So how did it go on the day?
Really well. We had good weather. We were blessed with the good weather because it was raining in the afternoon but stayed dry and cool in the morning. And we set off just before our 9:30 Mass was about to begin. And then I set everyone a target of 2 hours to get back in, and some people thought it might have been unrealistic, but we did it. We got round in 2 hours, so that meant that when we got back, the 11 o'clock Mass was just finishing, so we had almost a fake crowd that we'd orchestrated to come and see us off and come and welcome. So it was lovely, and it was just nice. People met us along the way with jelly babies and all sorts of little treats along the way, and came out to support us. So it was great. And
you raised a lot of money along the way.
Yeah, that's the most amazing thing, really. We're surprised. I didn't have any expectations about how much we'd raise. I would have been happy with maybe a couple of £1,000. But here in our parish, we've raised at the moment nearly 8,000. We're very close to getting the 8,000 mark. And then there was another priest in Gorton, Father Kevin Murphy, who ran almost independently of us, but inspired by our parish, and he's raised over 3,000. So together, that's nearly £11,000. So people have been so generous. I can't believe it, really. We set up that Just Giving page, and you know, the rest just happened, and people dropped off donations here at church as well. It's just amazing, the support and generosity that people have shown to us, really, and for such a great cause like Cornerstone. And we're running the Manchester Marathon in October as well, some of us as well, so keep us in your prayers for that too. Thank you.
So Susie, of course Cornerstone does wonderful work in the community.
Yeah, it's a fantastic place. They help the homeless and vulnerable, those not as fortunate in society. So when Father Michael suggested running for Cornerstone, we were all really excited to help them, especially at the moment with the new project that they've got going. They want to improve the reception area and provide better toilet and shower facilities. So that's where our fundraising is going to go to, and any fundraising in the future, that's what they're hoping to use it for.
And of course, this is really important, you know, that they have a nice shower area, because we know from Sister Lucy a lot of people attend Cornerstones during the day, and it's vitally important that she's got these facilities.
Yeah, it's brilliant to have facilities like that for people when they're obviously less fortunate, and to be able to come in and have nice facilities, nice warm shower, nice toilets, and just a kind of nice area to be able to refresh themselves in.
Now, you took part in the half marathon as well. How did it go for you, Susie?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I found it quite difficult towards the end, and one of my friends had to, coach me through the last 2 kilometres. But we had a really great time, and knowing that we were doing it for such a great cause, we all stayed together, managed to talk to each other all the way. We started, we finished together.
How difficult was it to raise all this money?
It actually wasn't quite difficult. We were just overwhelmed by the kindness of the parishioners. The donations just kept coming in, and we, shared it throughout the parish and through school. My children go to St Catherine's, and one of the teachers ran with us as well, and she shared it with the teachers. So all the teachers, the mums, the dads, they all got on board, all the parishioners, and they were so generous. We're quite overwhelmed by how much we've raised, really.
Now, we heard from Father Deas that he's taking part in the full marathon in October. Are you going to join him?
I am, yes. I've entered. So hopefully, I'll be able to see it through. It will be, quite, if I manage to finish it. But, we're going to start our training together in June. So we'll give us a good few months to train and, again, hopefully raise money for charity. You do feel such a sense of achievement, and that helps you get along with your training, in the back of your mind that you're doing it to help others.
Best of luck with that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well done to them all on raising so much money for a great cause, and a big thank you to everybody who supported them. Now, Maureen Fox, President of the Roscommon Association in Manchester, celebrated her 100th birthday last September. Well, recently Maureen sadly passed away with COVID-19. We're going to have a little look back now on Maureen's big celebration on that special day.
Oh, the lambs are playing in the fields, the tulips were in flower. When I left the home that I loved so well, I'll ne'er forget the hour. Before me was the Atlantic waves to a home in Tennessee, and I left behind me the girl I love. She's the Rose of Castlereagh.
I'm 100 years old today.
And how are you celebrating this special day?
With friends and family and all.
And you've received so many cards and beautiful flowers. Where did all these come from?
From all over.
Tell me a little bit about yourself and growing up. I know you come from Castlereagh. Tell me a little bit about growing up in Castlereagh, going to school over there, and how it was then.
Oh, it was lovely. Had a lovely time in school, and the nuns were lovely. Convent of Mercy.
And what age did you immigrate to England at?
17. And from there I moved down here to Manchester, to Oldham, the same place, Oldham.
Of course, you've been here for 83 years.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And Roscommon is still your home?
Oh, yes, still my home.
And would you go back to live there if you could?
Tomorrow morning.
My goodness. And how long have you been involved with the Roscommon Association?
Since the first night.
That was back in 1987?
Myself and Michael Butler. Anne Malooly, Mary Butler, Anne Marie Kelly. I could go on for a long time. And Lynn Connell. Not forgetting Lynn Connell.
No. But I know that you're the president, aren't you?
Oh yes, I'm president. Quite a long time. Yes, I like to do the shouting at them.
Well, somebody's got to do it to get the work done.
Yeah.
And you had 2 lovely daughters.
Yeah.
That's Maureen and Pat.
They live right beside me down the road.
They were telling me earlier on what a keen gardener you are. So tell me about your gardening.
Oh, yeah. I sow everything. Everything. Potatoes, rhubarb, every vegetable, tomatoes. I carry on, I do all that. And I've smashed apples.
Of course, the Queen has been in touch with you.
Oh, lovely, I got a lovely card from the Queen.
And the Irish government.
Oh, the Irish government. A lovely cheque from the Irish government, from Mr. Higgins.
Going back to Roscommon, I know that you had a lovely presentation as well made to you with a beautiful clock some time back.
Oh, yes.
Who was that from?
That Roscommon Association.
In Roscommon.
In Roscommon.
Now tell me about the Roscommon Association here in Manchester. You've had so many big events.
Always some good dues and lovely bands. No complaints about anything.
We spoke about Frank there. Sadly, you lost Frank, your husband, about 4 years ago.
It'll be 5 years this January.
Yeah.
We're very happy, and I was married all those years.
Frank's faith meant a lot to him, didn't he? And he got a very special presentation from the Pope.
Oh, yes. Frank was over and back to Rome and all over the Rome and like all religious places. And Frank got our school down here, a Catholic school. We had no Catholic school. And if you had money, you went to St. Pat's, the children. If you hadn't, you had to walk 2.5 miles over to Corpus.
Many congratulations on celebrating 100 years. God bless you. Maureen will be very sadly missed, and she worked so hard for the Roscommon Association. May she rest in peace. Now that brings us to the end of the show for this week. Don't forget, Henry McGlade is back with his show from County Mayo next Thursday evening at 7 o'clock. And we're here as usual with the Irish in the UK at 7:30. Until then, take good care and we'll see you next week.